Welcome to Project Management Secrets Academy. This is part 1 in a 3-part series on leadership skills secrets for project managers. Each part in this series will reveal one secret. So, make sure you come back for parts 2 and 3. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified when parts 2 and 3 come out. Okay, let's get started. With each move up in your career, keep in mind that you are a beginner in that new role. This means, whether you're just starting off as a project manager, or you are ready to transition into project management leadership, you are a beginner. Because of that, this series will be back to basics, tailored specifically to you, as a project manager. Secret number 1. I remember the first time I was asked to manage a project. I was scared to death, and had no idea what I was doing, how I was supposed to act, or how I should lead. I remember my first project meeting, like it was yesterday. I had a group of business leaders and technical personnel on a call, and I was kicking off the project. To say I was nervous would be an understatement. I went through my presentation, explained the project, and then fielded questions. That was it, I was done. Now what? At that point, I did probably one of the smartest things I could have done, which has served me well over the course of my career. I begged for help. Okay, not really begged, but I did ask for help. There was one senior technical guy, who had been working on projects, as a technical resource for years, and he had a strong reputation. However, what I had heard was that if you get on his bad side, he'd make your project unbearable. So, what was I thinking, going to the one person that could make or break my project? I didn't know for sure, but my thought was, he had probably worked with a lot project managers, and knew the good ones from the bad ones. I wanted to know what he knew, so that I could do more of the good, and avoid as much of the bad as possible. The next day, I set up a meeting with him. His name was Charlie. I asked for 30 minutes of his time, to discuss the project, but I was really more interested in his insights of what makes a good project manager. As we talked through the project, and were getting close to wrapping up, I told him my secret. I said, Charlie, I'm new to project management, and I want to do the best possible job. Is there any advice you can give me? He thought for a minute and said, be a leader. What? That's it? Be a leader? He also went on to say, if you're a good leader, I will follow you and help you make this project a success. My jaw dropped. The one guy that first knew, could make or break my project, just told me that he would follow me, and help me make my project a success if I was a good leader. I was excited and scared at the same time. I knew nothing about being a leader. Up to that point in my life, I'd been a follower. I think Charlie could tell I was scared, and he knew I had no experience in leading people, so he proceeded to give me a few basic steps, for me to follow. He said he had observed these secrets, in some of the best project managers and leaders he had worked with over his career. The first thing he told me was, you need to start with your team. He said, your position doesn't matter, your amount of experience doesn't matter, how many degrees or certifications you have doesn't matter. None of those things matter. What matters most is, that your team knows you are there for them and that you will have their backs. Well, I don't know any of them yet, and they've never seen me work, so how will they know I have their backs? I asked. They don't, Charlie said. It's up to you to show them you've got their backs, and that they can trust you. How do I do that? I asked. He smiled, as he leaned back in his chair, with his hands folded behind his head. He said, I went to a seminar a few years ago, and the main speaker said something I'll never forget. It was a quote from Theodore Roosevelt that goes like this, people don't care how much they know until they know how much you care. Charlie sat there quietly, as he let the words he'd just spoken, sink into my young, naive, project manager brain. At the time, I sort of understood what he meant, but none of that was taught in school. Show them I care, that's the big secret? So I asked him again, how do I do that? Still quiet, he again just looked at me for a few minutes and then asked, do you have any hobbies? I'm sure he could see the perplexed look on my face, because he leaned forward and said, you know, what do you like to do for fun? What did this have to do with our project, and me being a better leader, I thought? I told him, I like to play tennis. We talked for a while, as we got to know each other. As we were finishing up, Charlie asked me, do you feel you know me a little better, and that we are now more connected? Do you think you trust me more now than you did an hour ago? I said, absolutely, with a smile on my face. He went on to say, I know this takes time, but if you can just get to know everyone on your team, beyond just the project, you will find that are willing to move mountains for you. Here's the thing you've got to remember. Your project is not the only thing they've got going on. You have other project managers, colleagues, and so on, fighting for their time. You have to give them a reason to prioritize time on your project. Understand? Charlie said. I nodded in agreement. So that's secret number 1. Show your team you care about them. Did you catch the added bonus of seeking wise counsel? Charlie's advice was invaluable, and one I've never forgotten. If you haven't already done so, remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified when parts 2 and 3 come out. See you on the next video.